A lightning strike started the Cedar Creek Fire on August 1st and is approximately 15 miles east from the city of Oak Ridge. Strategies for the Cedar Creek Fire have been developed and implemented to protect critical assets and infrastructure, including the city of Oak Ridge, and maintaining uninterrupted transportation along the Highway 58 corridor and the Union Pacific Railroad for essential services and commerce. Priorities also include protecting public infrastructure, natural resources in the national forest, and also protection of the pristine Waldo Lake. On the Cedar Creek Fire, firefighters were not initially inserted near the fire origin because there was no safe way to engage the fire due to the steep terrain and inaccessibility. Safety of the public and firefighters is a top priority on any incident.
So the steep terrain with limited access, so if a firefighter was injured, our ability to extract them from that environment had to play into the decision. The fuels being the timber and the timber type that we have here, the size of trees, the inability to get in close and work in that environment with the number of snags that are involved, and the potential for those to come down and strike the firefighters.
When establishing operational objectives, fire managers use the PACE model, which stands for primary, alternate, contingency, and emergency. The steep topography, heavy timber, and an abundance of fuel also impact the decision to implement a direct or indirect fire suppression method.
So whenever we engage an operation on the fire line, or it could be a logistical operation, could be pretty much anything that we do, we approach it with the PACE model in mind.
On any wildland fire, the incident management team always take into consideration any previous fire activity in the area, such as the 2020 Labor Day and the 2021 Middle Fork Complex.
We know that in this country, that as we get into fall, east wind events are fairly common, the strength of which varies greatly. We remember but a couple of years ago, the Labor Day storm that caused a lot of damage.
Knowledge of local conditions, topography, fuel types, and potential for adverse weather conditions, including wind, along with fire history, is important to fire managers.
If that east wind event were to happen, where do we need to be prepared in this PACE model planning? Where's that contingency? Where's that emergency to be ready to implement those lines and diminish the impacts of an east wind event on this fire?
Contingency planning on fires is a consistent theme. Be ready for temperatures, weather, wind, or any event that could increase fire activity.
When conditions change, when an opportunity presents itself, that window opens, to use that analogy, and what do we do with that? Do we go through it or not? And we understand that those opportunities are fleeting. Maybe an opportunity tomorrow based on fire behavior, based on weather, based on availability of resources, any number of things. So we want to be ready to take advantage of those opportunities when they present themselves.
Fire managers consistently look for ways to safely attack the fire where feasible when weather, topography, and fuel conditions align. They look for ways to ensure all necessary resources, including equipment, supplies, and personnel, are ready when opportunity arises.
There's a lot that goes into these large-scale fires. There's a lot of planning that happens. We have to look at where can we be most successful, and that's what the approach was to this fire from the beginning.
The fire team continues to address strategies to protect Oak Ridge, Waldo Lake, Highway, the railroad, and other values in the area that are important.